It's always a party at Patchworks. Let's get this party started. Woot, woot. Hi, everyone. This is Julie from Patchworks, and we are trying this again. We are going to be sewing from the sewing room with the Butterfly Quilt tonight. So if you wanted to let us know that you're here, that'd be great. And make sure, since I'm all by myself, to make sure that you can hear me. Also awesome. I appreciate your patience with last night. You know, sometimes life happens that you forget one thing or the other, and good thing that we all have lots of fun projects to work on, and that delaying by one evening isn't going to change it up a ton. So if this is the first time that you're watching us with this program, we are trying something new that we're doing a midweek. So it's supposed to be on Tuesdays. Today it is on Wednesday, where we're talking about the Butterfly Quilt. We just introduced this last week. This pattern is available in the store. It's $27.99. We have kits available that are $199.99. That would include everything you need to make the beautiful quilt top and binding. It finishes 88 by 94. You will need 8.5 yards of standard width or 2 3/4 yards of wide backing. So I see Ginny's on. Hi, Ginny. Thanks so much for commenting. And whether or not you are on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to jump in. Let us know what's going on. So we talked a little bit last week about best practices. I introduced some tools to you. We did the 1/4 inch test, which is really, really important if you are getting into precision sewing. And we had a little bit of time left over, so we made this first block 1. So I wasn't quite planning on sewing last week, but we had been clipping along and didn't have too many questions. So I thought, why not? Let's get going. And some of you were super excited and went ahead and sewed all 10 blocks of Unit 1, and that is just fantastic. What we're going to do with this program that I said, I'm going to be sewing along with you. So I'm not going to be doing a ton of pre-sewing, and feel free to hop in and out if you have other things going on during these broadcasts. Hop back in, or if you're working on something to get different altogether. I think someone had posted yesterday, maybe Deb had posted, saying that she just tunes us in to help keep her company in her sewing room, and I love doing that as well. So the first thing that we're going to do today is that we are going to be looking at the color picks for this block. So as a recap, the block that we're going to be working on, well, not a recap because you are tuning in for the first time right now. So we're going to be in this book working on the intersection block, okay? So the intersection block, I can't show you all the details here, but there are 10 different blocks, and where they come into play is in this particular color sheet here. Let me bring it back a little bit and let me make that caption go away. There we go. So we have an intersection block here. We have another one there, slightly different color. We have this one. We have this one. Okay. And then we also have, so let me just look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the ones that we have. And the one that's behind me is one of these. Now the butterfly is symmetrical, so you will have a right and a left side of this. And the colors that are featured in the fabrics that are featured in this are the colors represented by Tula's True Colors and Solids. So you can swap things out, and we'll talk about that a little bit, how you can make it your own. All right, I did pre-starch my fabrics, but I didn't press them yet. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can bring up the other camera And then we're going to hop over to the other side of this cutting table, and we'll see if I can still see you. How does that sound? Sounds exciting. All right. I don't know why we keep seeing the turtle. Okay, so here we go. That looks pretty good. Ah, and I have coffee. I hope you have a beverage of choice. I also have this really cool zipper pouch that I thought would be great to store all of my fabric for this project. It is a really nice size. It is, let's see, probably like a 12 by 18, and it has a really nice gusset in here. So, as you're building all of your fabrics and blocks, I just think it's really nice to have a nice separate project holder for each of your projects. We do have those large zipper bags available in the store as well. All right, let me move my coffee over so I don't knock it over because that would be bad, don't you think? I think it'd be bad. I made myself a latte to get us going today. Okay, I have, oops, and what did I do here? I made us all bigger. Okay, going to put this here. Then we're going to press the fabrics and we're going to talk about our fabric selection, okay? So remember I said last week I didn't know why I didn't have a pressing mat? Well, guess what? I found my pressing mat. It's amazing what you unearth in your sewing room, right? Let's move this down a little bit. So this is live and unfiltered. You never know what you're going to get from me. All right, and let me just see if I can turn this. I can see you a little bit. Okay. And hopefully, oh, you're seeing the other corner. How exciting. Here we go. Oh, you can see the pressing table behind me. Okay, so we are going to look first at the citron block that we have. So the citron block that we have here is 3 different fabrics. It is this guy here, here, and there. I'm curious why it looks like we are a little jittery here. Let's see if I can change that. How's that? Is that a little better? Hi, Jan. Hi, Linda. Hi, Ginny. Thanks for joining us today. So as I said, I had sprayed these guys before we started, and now I'm just going to give them a press. So this is one of your fabric choices or one of the blocks that we're making. And when I'm pressing, I really just keep them all stacked up when they're saturated with the starch. So when I am doing the starch pressing like this, I am actually ironing. Remember, I tell you a lot of times that when you are pressing quilt blocks, you should just press rather than iron. Well, when you are preparing your fabrics, you often are ironing. So I don't mean to mislead you. I like a nice hot iron. And one of the things, especially if you're working with pre-cuts, that starch can kind of save you from is that it can help you with identifying if you're going to have any shrinkage or any bleeding in a pre-cut because you can't wash those pre-cuts, right? Now, when you starch a solid like this, sometimes they do tend to change colors where the moisture appears, but then after it becomes dry, it goes back. And I'm not quite sure. I think that's called the reet in the dye. If anybody knows specifically, they can let us know. Got to be careful where I redirect this computer camera from because you're going to see all the secrets to my downstairs sewing area. It's not nearly as glamorous as what one might think. That's what this is all about, right? Real life. So as I'm pressing this, oh, and I didn't tell you here as I switched colors here, this is a block fabric combination. Let me bring it back up. We have the Legendary Solid, and then we have the multicolor Hexie here, and that is for another one of the blocks. This particular block only has 2 fabrics in it, so that one's very interesting. That is the Peacock Rainbow Hexie. Now we're going back to the color combination for the fabric that we chose, or the block that we assembled last week, where we have the green hexie here, and then we have the wildflower here, okay, and then we have a fairy dust. That's the beautiful rainbow birds, right? And then we have the mineral, which is in lime here. Okay, so as I'm going to lay this back just so we can look at it, this is one where I had a couple other fabrics, Tula fabrics that were from other lines, just to share how, if you wanted to, you could incorporate some of your other fabrics. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So here, this is from Daydreamer, okay, and you can see here, maybe I could value-wise swap him out for the mineral if I wanted to. And then you can think like, oh, what is this one? This is a beautiful vintage print from Days Gone By. And in the camera here, maybe I could swap it out like this. Now, you absolutely don't have to. You can, of course, stick to the originals. You could also decide to put in surprising elements of change, like you could decide that you want to add some elements of black and white or something else surprising. You can make those fabric choices as you wish. Also, what could be fun is as you are making the blocks, you could even swap out and put some changes in. That doesn't quite look good. Too much of a glare there. So, okay. I know that we had one of our quilt makers for this quilt come in last week, and what we did is that we paired up her fabrics and made some fabric substitutions. She's been a club member of our Tula and Free Spirit clubs now for a couple years, and she had some Tula fabric she wanted to incorporate, and so we're helping her make it all happen. Now the next 2 blocks share some fabrics. So you either are going to be using the mineral or the polka dot, and then some solids. and then wildflower. Okay, so we can see how the color combinations goes together. Okay, so you have that. This is one of Tula's new solids, and then the persimmon has been existing in the line. And then you have the mineral. Okay, so that's a beautiful combination. And then the alternate block is, I misspoke. We're going to swap out the wildflower and put in the polka dot. Now, if you wanted to, you could, once again, make some discretionary choices. You could put in something like this. You could put in like something like that from Handmade. All sorts of interesting options. All right. So really, if you had wanted to, you could go through and find all of your fabrics for the whole quilt, just like in the book. Or you could start with your quarters and eighths and simply choose block by block to be able to come up with your colorway. In the back, there is the fabric placement coloring page as well that you can make your own decisions and record them. All right, so let's go ahead and start cutting some fabric. Once again, I can't give you the fabric dimensions here, but we can go ahead and cut them. I just want to make sure that I'm positioning this so that it's not going to end up in the camera shot. I don't want to get in trouble with the quilt police here. That would be bad, right? Nobody wants to see Julie in trouble with the quilt police. Well, maybe Linda does. I'm not sure. Okay, so now I'm going to swap this out, and I'm going to cut some squares. Now for the polka dots, if I wanted to, because these are going to be the cornerstones, I don't know, what do you think? Should we fussy cut these? I'm actually not going to fussy cut them. Let's just go with the flow. Let's be caution to the wind. All right. So I'm going to stack some fabrics here because I'm going to be cutting all of my corners. I'm going to try to stay organized here, okay? And I need to be cutting for 2 sets because I'm going to be making a total of 10 blocks from the 5 combinations. So I'm going to grab this one. Now keep in mind, I have a combination of quarter yards and other pieces because I have access to um, well, all of the cutoffs, and I have been working with the kit as well. I'm sorry, with the club fabrics as well for the past almost 2 years. Or is it 3 years? How long has it been? I don't know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I need my green. Okay. So I'm lining them all up here. Now, what I need to do, and it's a little bit trickier with me working, kind of just showing you part of the table. I'm going to make a straight cut, and then I'm going to quick flip it so that I can, actually what I should do to better show you, because we're not supposed to move the fabric. So I'm going to just grab my ruler, grab my cutter. All right. Nice straight cut here. I'm just prepping this for a straight cut. I'm going to be cutting this way to have better use of the fabric. Okay, and I have another long ruler here. Nope. Okay, let's go this way. There we go. Okay. So I'm cutting for these now. What I would likely do is be a little bit more, I'm going to end up with a little strip at the end, and I probably should be a little bit more fabric uh, conscious as to what I'm cutting. Layer, layer. It's definitely much cleaner and easier if you're just working from kit pieces right away. But what is important and what I really want you to encourage you to do is when you have that extra fabric, go ahead and use it. I mean, what purpose is having all of the extra fabric if you don't use it? Because if you don't use it, then you can't buy anymore. And that would just be sad, right? All right, so once again, we're going to make a straight cut here. Flip it around. Where's my spinny mat? I need my spinny mat. And what I also like to do is when I'm subcutting things, I do like to make a larger cut and then come back and make another cut in between. The reason why is that it said every 3 cuts this way you need to go, you need to make a straight cut. And I don't know about you, but I prefer to make as few straight cuts as possible. So, and here I'm also not afraid to be stacking my fabrics. Let's see here. I think I'm only going to get my double blocks out of out of the yellow. That's all right. You get the gist. We get the gist of it. All right, so I'm just going to stack up my colors here. So we're ready to go. So we're cutting all of the sets at one time. Now, if that's too crazy for you, you can absolutely go through and cut one color set at a time. A lot of times when I'm working with multiples, I just like to cut everything at once. What do you like to do? Do you like to cut everything at once? Do you like to cut separately? What do you think? Let me look here. My next section. Two, read strips. Okay, so I'm going to grab my light. And this. So how many of you just cut one at a time? So if I were to cut one at a time, and I'm cutting from a width of fabric piece, so we're watching me on the side here, I would take my fabric at the fold, and I do like to fold it up here, okay? Shortest amount of fabric on the shortest amount of acrylic. I use my ruler, line up on the perpendicular. Okay. And now this one here, I think I'm using in 2 blocks in the exact same order. Nope. One's order one and one's in the other order. Oh man, see, if you want to be exactly like the book, it does take a little bit of organization. So I'm on fabric 2 here. So this is fabric 2 for one of them. Okay. Put it away so it can be fabric 3. And then I open it up. Oops. Now, if I'm careful, I can make my straight cut here and then cut this away. Very technical terms, cut this away. Now, I probably should be using a smaller ruler here, shorter, so I'm not struggling with the big strip ruler. And if you notice, I'm not using the lines on the mat. Right? And then I can put this aside for, oh wait, no, that's only one. I need to make them for 2. I need to make them for 2 blocks. Linda, you need to keep me on task here. All right, so because I moved it and I changed everything, I'm going to make a generous cut here. Gently flip. Still always cutting away from myself. There we go. Set those aside. And then I'm going to grab the darker one here. So in general, we will be doing this on Tuesday nights. Next Tuesday is super exciting. We are going to have Sew Together Tuesday with Teresa Coates and Hawk from Shannon Fabrics. And I'm not going to be able to do our Tuesday night. So please forgive me that I'm going to be not doing that. Depending on how far we get tonight, we can see where everybody is and see if your homework is finishing these blocks and picking out your fabrics or for assigning new homework. My guess is that we are going to be finishing sewing these blocks here as your homework for next week. So someone asked yesterday how long we were going to be taking on this journey. And my answer is as long as we need, but we don't want to take 3 years, right? Because, well, you have other quilts you want to make. I often think that some of these projects we get done the most of when we work on several at a time, right? So I'm encouraging you to be working on this while you're working on other things. Does that make sense? It's 4. Linda can only do one at a time. Hi, Beth. Thanks for joining us. So I'm just cutting away here. We're talking about fabric selection. Happy that you're joining us. So I'm just cutting my different units that were all ready to sew. Okay, and then I have extras that I can leave over for next round. All right, that's my 2 there. What next? We need to go to the yellows. Yellow, or actually I have my green right in front of me. Let's just do the green. So the green I only need to do 1 of, right? Yeah, because we made 1 last week. I don't know what I did with this one. I'm going to give it a quick press over here, just this corner that we're going to work on. All right. So Beth, you have a lot of different projects going on with different techniques. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, and Renee, 1 color at a time. Rest of my day is so fast paced. I just like to take a slower pace when cutting. Love it. That's a great philosophy. I'm still going to cut here. And you're right, this is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a job, right? And Linda here, okay, so 2 of the orange blocks are with the darker on the inside and 2 are with the darker on the outside. That is correct. So we're using the same, so we're only cutting round 2 right now. If you had wanted to, you could cut your round 2 and your round 3. So I'm probably just confusing everyone. What do you think? Should I stop cutting all the different ones in the row? I feel like we're committed right now. Let's continue through round 2, okay? And then we'll swap up to finish out a block. Sound good? Okay. Let me see if you can see this. So this is, and you might not be able to see, oh, here we go. So this is for 1 block. This is round 2. This is our lime. And you can see over here, so like so Renee, I have all of my fabrics for my lime still in a stack, so I'm not being completely crazy. Completely crazy. All right. Now for our hexy one here, our legendary. Gotta make sure I don't end up cutting off our pieces. That would be sad. I would cry. Okay, let me stack these back over here. But this way we can see them, right? You want to see them all? I should get a little bin. A bin. I'm hopping over and getting my little snippets bin. I just got a little pop it up thingy from somebody. It's so cute. So super cute. All right, so. Go. And so this one's really interesting, that for this block with the peacock, that we are going to be using just the 2 fabrics. So I think that's very interesting how some of these blocks we're using 4 fabrics and some we're using 2. So you can see here when I'm cutting these strips and I have it folded and I need 4 of a unit for a block here, I actually have it with the 2 strips that are folded in half. I'm able to be cutting 4 with my 1 cut. Okay, so this here is enough for one block. Okay, now I probably needed a second one here. Yes, I did need an extra strip because this one is only my stack for part one of my second block because we need to make two of each. So let me cut one substrip. And then rather than folding this in half and in half, I'll just make two cuts to get my four because it's only two deep. Okay. So I'm making the double cut and coming back to make my single cut. There we go. One more fabric left for our round for this. And I'm blind, so I need to take a peek here. Ooh, it's the pear. Use the pear solid here. Hey, Sharon, thanks for joining us. We're hanging out. Cotton fabric. I'm being crazy. I'm making everybody's head explode. I'm like cutting all of the blocks at the same time. Head exploding. Okay, so we decided we needed 3 strips. So I'm going to do a triple here. Oh, but I have a double width. Well, maybe we have an extra strip. Who knows? We're having fun. Who knows? Only the shadow knows. Okay, so we have. No, I only needed 2. I'm just babbling to myself. Okay, so I'm going to do my straight cut here. Oops, 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 oops. Once again, when you are working without having technical things by you, you're able to have a greater space for spreading stuff out so that you can just have an easier time making your straight cuts. What do you mean I'm too young for me and my shadow? Okay, let me make sure here so I have. If that was too many layers for you, so I was cutting 8 layers at a time. And so I did kind of have to saw there, which really isn't the best practice. So I probably shouldn't be helping you get bad habits, right? We're all about the good habits here. All right. So now to restore Renee's sense of order. Okay. We are going to finish cutting. Let's see. We're going to pair these up. So the lime, 1, 2. And the mineral, 1, 2. The polka dot, 1, 2. The peacock hexie, 1, 2. The yellow hexie, 1, 2. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just haphazardly take the lime. Let's take that one. And we'll just take that one till the end. We'll cut 3 and 4. Okay. Ha! Linda, the radio show is older than you. Well, how do you know I'm not older than you? You just never know. You just never know. Okay. So let us do the yellow hexie that I put over here, that I crumpled up and put over there. All right. So let's cut. I need to uncrumple it. I need to get better at not crumpling my fabric. It's just because everybody's watching me. So Linda, since you are, and Sharon, or anybody who was watching this week and last week, is the sound same, better, or worse than last week's sewing room? Let me know. Let me know. All right, so now I'm cutting the 3rd round. Sound is very echoish. Okay, that is interesting. I'll have to evaluate. So, and it's echoish today and wasn't echoish last week. Is that a true statement, Sharon? And does anybody else think I'm echoey today? I leave the salvage. I still left the salvage on. Okay, so we have a 3.5. And Beth said, sounds good, no echo. Okay. Always very interesting. So, out of curiosity, Sharon, are you watching us on Facebook or on YouTube? Because this is just a very interesting thing to see if. Oh, okay. Facebook. All right. And Beth, are you watching on Facebook or YouTube? As we're working out all these technical technical things. All right, for the fabric 4, because we're going to finish this citron look here. What do I need? I need a 1 strip. And you're watching Facebook as well. All right, well, thanks for the feedback. And I am always looking for good constructive ways to make our videos better, especially as we're adding technology. Now, I feel that this watching, I don't have the same type of internet here at the house that I do at the store. I feel like this is a little lagged behind this picture of me cutting. So we can see what anybody else has to say about that. All right, so am I gonna need 2 strips to cut this? Probably. Yes. Okay. The thing I love about this particular quilt is that you really have I mean, we never want to make errors on it, but the thing that I really like is that it is constructed with basics. So, heaven forbid something go wrong, as long as you're making it in the relatively near future, you have absolutely no problem getting more fabric. And I love that because, sometimes you're making something and I only needed 1 strip. Okay, that's all right. Um, and fabric's gone forever, and even before we finished our program, and then that's super sad. Okay, so we have there we go. 1 complete set. Is this the first time I'm making this? Yes. You said that you had, so this is the first time, Beth, that I'm making it for in the past 10 years. So we did it with version 1. And so this is the first one with this version that we are making. And well, I'm sure just like you may not remember all the intricacies of a particular pattern that you made many moons ago. So, and the format that we're doing here isn't quite a demo per se, as a literally sewing along with me. So, as we get to some of the more intricate sections of the curves in here and specific things, there are going to be some tips and tricks that we will be talking about. But for a long segment of it, we are literally making it and keeping you company along the way. So, kind of weird, but we're just trying something out. Never know until you try. And as I said, also, it's making an appointment with myself that we're actually getting this done rather than saying, oh, well, yeah, we're working on it. So you and me both, we are committed to each other for making it happen. Okay, so this is one. I do need another strip in order to finish my block. Now, Beth, are you working from version 1 or version 2 pattern? I forget. I think you hopped on yesterday in our craziness when I said I didn't have my fabric. I had only half my fabric. It was crazy. I think I might need another strip too. All right. Oh, thanks, Sharon, for letting us know that the sound is good on the TV. Ooh, I love it. I love it when I'm on the big screen. Love it when I'm on the big screen. And nope. Wah, wah, wah. So as I said, I'm working from scraps, which aren't the full size of what's in the kit. So this one I'm short, so I can't finish that whole round there. That's okay. And then my big fabric on this guy is, I switched pages. Oh no. Polka dots. I need to grab my mineral. Ah, so Beth, digging through your fabrics, that's the best part. So are you going to be incorporating anything besides the official fabrics in the kit? Are you going to be putting in? Oh, so that was something that we had shared earlier today, was talking about fabric substitutions, that in this block, pulling things from some of the lines per se could be really interesting to go along with it. And I know that one of our YouTube viewers is adding some elements of interest to her quilt so that she can incorporate a lot of what she's collected over the past couple years. Because you got to use it, right? You got to use up that beautiful fabric. Got to use up that beautiful fabric. Okay, I'm going to have to make a second cut. I wasn't sure if I would or not. That doesn't seem specifically straight. Round. Straighten that bad boy up. Oh, yeah, I'm excited. So I'm tempted to put in some elements of interest along the way. In my perfect world, I would actually have a totally unique one. However, I know for the purpose of what we're doing, being able to have something that you can make just like Julie, which in then that case is just like Tula, is really valuable. And especially since a lot of the pieces that I have are out of print, I feel like it's not necessarily fair to make a sample that you wouldn't be able to replicate. And oh yeah, and with the other thing too that could be really fun is to incorporate tiny dots and tiny stripes in here, which are also basics. See, so Beth, you can work along with us, and then you can have your sample done and share it with your shop. That'd be fun. All right, so now we have most of, because I don't have all of this guy here, so 1, 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Ta-da! 2 done. Well, I think I was crazy ambitious saying we'd cut and sew all of them together tonight. Ah, Renee's laughing at me. Oh, I'm so happy, Beth. I'll absolutely keep you on task. That's my job. All right, so let's hop over to this one. That one's kind of fun. And then round 3 is more of the peacock hexie, which is doing a little dance behind me over here, all crumpled up. Ay, ay, ay. How did I crumple everything up? Okay. So this one is folded. Now, I'm going to be using the hexie this way for my strips. If you really wanted to get fussy about it, you could pick where you were fussy cutting in some colors, but we're just going to use it as is. Oh, Renee, I'm so happy that you think that the cutting's going fast. That's fabulous. So I'm not one of those people that cuts for the entire quilt. I like to cut reasonable chunks at a time. And I know that sometimes, I don't know, we like to be, we want to be ready for a retreat or something where we cut up everything ahead of time. But for this particular project, we're not going to do that. We're just going to cut our sections at a time. But the cool thing is that because we'll have cut everything that we need for this section, we can then go to our cutting or to our sewing room or sewing machine, and then to our sewing machine, and then we can get everything done. 1, 2, 3. Did I get that right? What did I do? I missed it. 1, 2. Oh no. Okay, so here's something now. Okay, I was cutting this. Do you see what's wrong with this picture here? Wah, wah, wah. It's supposed to be this. So let's just go ahead and do that. We're doing it. We're doing it. Gotta fix it. Okay, so gotta fix it. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. See, I'm helping all of you. Did anybody do that? Just like me? Because if we did, we'll proceed as planned. So Renee, did I make you do something wrong? All right, so let's think here. Round 2. 2. All in a good day's fun, right? All in a good day's fun. All right, there we go. Then we have this one. I bet you I'm not going to have enough legendary here. Then I'm going to have to cut more from, I bet you I used it all up. Okay, so, wah, wah, wah. Setting this one aside. Then let us do the lime. And the lime is another one here that has a lot of really great options for substitutions. I think I showed here how you can use some of Daydreamer. You could even go back in your stash for some of the more olivey tones there to be able to play with that. All right, so we're going to get the Wildflower in green for the next round. And I'm just having to cut one more of these, right? Because I had cut last week and we had already made one of these blocks that's hanging on the wall. So this is a half worth of fabric that I have here. Best practices, I should make a straight cut. So I'll just make my larger chunk. And then I'll flip it over. To trim it down. And straight cut. All right, so that is round 3, and then round 4 is this beautiful hexie. I'm working with a fat quarter here. Oops, 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 oops. It'll slide. Let's go ahead and use my big ruler for my straight cut here on the side. You know, and making the little oopses in the straight cuts is never fun, but it is important to correct them rather than just proceed on. You'll be happier. Once again, I'm only making one, so let me quick do some math. Yeah, that should be fine with one cut here. If you have issue with things sliding, using InvisiGrip can be really, really helpful on your rulers. All right, got one, and then okay, that is the green one. And then we just have one more block to cut. And then I believe I will leave you with your homework that we need to piece these for this next week. So we have the dark. So now we're going to cut the light for round 3. And I have some handy dandy strips already chopped up, so I can get started on that. Just going to line them up carefully. So Beth, I have a different engagement on next Tuesday that was in place before we decided to do this. So we are not going live next Tuesday. So I may or may not be able to hop in later in the week, but I would literally be just sewing these. So I'm either sewing these on camera or off camera. And then the first Tuesday in October, we will be on talking about the next the unit 2s. in October, I believe. I'm still not sure. I haven't booked if I'm going to Houston or not to go to market. So that would be the only thing that would, as of right now, interrupt any of our other Tuesdays. Okay, so I moved my fabric, so I do need to go ahead and re-straighten it. So the plan, Beth, is not that we're going to take a month to do each block. That's not the plan. It's just how it we with our introduction that we did last week, and then I can't cut and talk at the same time. All right. Can't cut and talk. So a plan is that we're able to do each of the units in a week's time once we get going. Yes, absolutely. It'll be a great time to catch up. All right. And then our wildflower. Do a straight cut here. Just making my big cut for my fabric number 4. I make those big cuts 2 different ways. Sometimes I flip my ruler this way. The other way you can do it is to put 2 rulers together in order to end up with the math that you want. 6.5 plus 4. And then just going to get my other 2. Whew. Well, we did it, kind of. Let's quick walk through our fabrics that we did for our blocks today. We have this block right here is this, and this. All right, I'm going to take a quick picture here so that we have it for posterity. Actually, the lighting's not right, so we're not going to do that. So that's one of them. Number 2. I needed a little bit extra of this, so we couldn't finish completely live cutting it. Da, da, da. That's number 2. The yellow is using 3 fabrics instead of 4. Nice. Our lime block. We made one last week. Beautiful. And wah, wah, wah. So this particular block, we need to start with a square of legendary. First round of hexy, second round of legendary, and the center of our hexy dot. Of course, you can always change stuff up. And if you joined in and cut just like I initially did, where we were going like this and going to have this for the outside, that works well as well. And I think that could be super interesting. The other possibility is that you would, if you chose that route and you didn't cut this guy, you could also see what other fabric you might want to put on it and have it be your element of interest. So I would like to thank you for joining us tonight. And we have a program tomorrow. Oh, two different hexies. Yeah, you could do that. That could be fun. Um, Join us tomorrow night for our Orville Color Builders Club. We have another installment of that, another beautiful uh, color set to share with you in a thread box. And then we'll be talking about that project. I will also be showing you the new fabrics that we have in the store, and that will be our traditional Thursday program. So Thursdays, we continue to be where we show a little bit of the club pickup information, as well as maybe a little technique and absolutely new product. And then this from the sewing studio will be whatever we're working on. So it definitely is unscripted, and we learn together and have lots of fun. So thank you so much for helping us navigate through some of our technical learning curve as we have a different camera setup here in the house than we do at the store, as well as different bandwidth. Always fun to play with you. I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you stitch up those block ones so that you have 10 of these yummy bad boys. I want to see your show and tell. Hop on to our Patchworks party to be able to show your progress so we can hold ourselves accountable. And then October, let's look here at the actual date. October 4th. We're going to be right back here for certain, and we will then talk about block number 2. Until then, happy quilting, and we'll see you soon.